The audience, that the assembled persons were the expected persons were people that are attending Bhakti Vrikshas and this and that and the other thing and the other thing, and have a monthly get together amongst you know different newer type of persons, and you're all not in that category. The newer type of persons, you're the different category. Hey, look who's here! Wow! Wow! Let's hear a Haribo for it. Okay. But you still don't fit in that category. Newer people. You have. What about your people? The people that you communicate with, and everybody. So there's a plan, or there's a hope, and whether it's the saying, whether there's a will, there's a way. There's will to invite more souls who are not yet immersed in Krishna Bhakti to get their feet wet and associate with devotees a little bit and start reading Prabhupada's books and reading groups, or start chanting on beads a little bit, or something, something, something. And there's some nice devotees that are investing time and energy and making those kinds of efforts so that we can have our monthly program that has more than just our regulars, but some of those newer people, and that because you've cultivated them and you've invited them, and through association, incubate their Krishna Bhakti. We had a little discussion during the day today, the afternoon, on this topic, and related topics. So I guess with this audience, I can just encourage you, become a little bit familiar with the potential of inviting new people. There's always that potential. And new people from any background, not just looking around the room, that non-resident Indian diaspora, is that the right pronunciation? Group of people, besides that group of people, lots of other people, and how to attract them to, so consider the ways and means. And then after considering the ways and means, find others that share similar inspiration that you may have, and work together and figure out a way. I think I'd like to just touch on 2, maybe 3 topics, and then we'll see if there's some discussion. One of those topics is relationships. Now, younger generation devotees get it. Like, relationships mean a lot. As one gets a little bit older, relationships get a little more delicate and a little more challenging sometimes. But that's a very important part of helping people go forward. It's in 2 things in that context. I was, during this month of December, I conducted 4 japa retreats. And Jumana Jivana was with me for 3 of those. And one of those was in Houston, Texas. And the day that we were chanting 64 rounds, you're one of these celebrated brahmacharis from Chopati, right? From Pune, excuse me. Pardon me, from Pune. What's your name? Hari Bhakti Das. You sure? Ah? Okay. Okay. How long have you been in this area? 3 months. How do you like the winters? From Pune. A little different, huh? Welcome. It's gonna get warmer. After a while, it'll get warmer. Not like Pune, though. So, welcome. I was just describing that one of the japa retreats in Houston. It was on a Sunday, 64 round day, and we're all like, the temple was packed. There was, I don't know, not packed, but 150, 200, a little over 200 people chanting japa, facing the deity. And on Sunday, many people that just know there's a deity, and that's a nice time is, before the noon arti, there's the deity door is open, and they can come in and see the deities, and what everyone does. So I don't have to say what they do. There's like a little bit, each had a little bit different ritual, but they do what they do. And we're sitting there chanting japa. And, they didn't know what to do. Like, what's going on? So there was one very nice girl, young lady, and she put a bead bag to the side and stood up and greeted the guests. She was, hospitality lady. And, taking care of guests. But it wasn't just like, formality. She was particularly friendly. And, I couldn't hear what she was saying, but it was clear that she was, pointing, this is what they're doing. And she had some little beads, and she offered beads if they wanted to sit and chant with us. She offered a book. She showed them where the Charanamrita bowl is, and, stuff. Then somebody else would come. There, 6 people at a time or something like that, and she was busy. There was no japa retreat for her. It was guest greeting, and a number of those people sat down for 5 minutes or 10 minutes and started chanting japa. She showed them how to use the beads. They didn't know. It's like these new people. So, that's an example of befriending people that come to the temple or that you meet. Meet and greet, and befriend. Book distribution is a classic, also. In the course of this travel and all these japa retreat things, I was introduced to here's a nice couple. They're coming to our Bhakti Vriksha group, and here's how they were introduced to Krishna consciousness. We met them on the street. We met them door to door. They let us in. They were very kind. We showed them the Bhagavad Gita. They found out about a Bhagavad Gita reading book. They began reading Bhagavad Gita with us. And now they're chanting 16 rounds and, dancing in arti. So reaching out, you never know. You never know. You never know. And sometimes, and sometimes, but you never know. And what's going to happen. At least one thing we know is going to happen. Our disciplic succession, our founder Acharya, Lord Chaitanya, and his associates, they'll say Haribol. They'll be pleased. Whatever happens doesn't happen. If they say yes, no, or maybe, or something, it's pleasing to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates and our founder Acharya. And so you can't go wrong. Be polite and be ready to be not respected and all those, humbling things. And make the gift and let them decide what they want to do. And so that's a way, that's a second example besides this example of the japa retreat. Here's a third example. It's not exactly through book distribution or reaching out to people, but when I was, before coming here, I was in Portland. And in Portland, the home that I was staying in was Jai Sachinanda, who's an oncologist. And he was describing, he's a very nice person, and he was describing what it's like at the end of the day. Because sometimes he doesn't get home till late because he does the rounds that you aside from chanting japa rounds, he does the rounds in the hospital and he spends time with patients, the bedside manner kind of care. And he was describing to me that he has learned over the years that what's really the issue that's bothering people, they save to the last 2 minutes of a half an hour discussion. This blah, 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 and that's nice. But he's not disinterested in the blah, 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 but it's, the essence is his profession. And sometimes they say something that behind that something that comes out in the last 2 minutes is an emotional challenge that causes or triggers downstream other problems. And he's learned that through his professional experience. So he takes the time. And I'm encouraging if the vision is spread Krishna consciousness, or locally reach people that aren't yet fully reached, fully on board, and give a little helping hand according to ways and means that are meaningful to them, and be ready to show the kind of interest that people may share stuff with you that, unless you invest some time and show some receptivity and some skills of listening skills, then they'll stay in their shell, or they'll stay private, and they're not feel their heart has been touched. I could say, from some of the people that came to the Houston Japa retreat, some of the people were really moved because they felt cared for. If we weren't having a Japa retreat, there wouldn't be somebody to receive them. They just, do their thing, come before the deities and Charnamrita and put something in the hundi box, and different people have their own little rituals they do, turn around 3 times or something, and then go see Prabhupada and something, and then off they go. Not to be seen again till, a month later, maybe. But what I'm trying to share is a vision of expanding Krishna Bhakti to the people of this, whatever you want to call it, Palatine, Schaumburg, this northwest suburban area, or whatever was the right way to give it an adjective. Um, treat people with dignity and respect, and you know, recognize whatever they may be, as Prabhupada did for all of us. That he cared, and he didn't know us, but he cared, and he knew he didn't have to ask us. He knew why we weren't happy. We didn't know anything. We thought we knew something, and that was part of the problem. But we didn't know anything, and he was very patient, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's a leader. Train him up, huh? Okay. So that's what one thing is to grow. That's our topic, and that reach the hearts and minds of people, because they're potentially on a soul platform. Everyone is eternally part and parcel of Krishna, regardless of what the package may look like, or the behaviors may look like, or the speech may sound like. Move to the spiritual platform and treat people with kindness and respect and dignity, and you actually want to see them become happy. And the best way is you're happy. Then you can try to help people make people happy. But what I'm saying is not rocket science. It's not something you haven't heard many times before. But then comes tomorrow, and then acting on that platform. That's our life. Receive and give. And the better you can receive, the better you are at giving. And then, what is it that you're receiving? Everything that we need to know is in Prabhupada's books, and so that's a second point. One of the fantastic ways to engage newer people is engage them in reading groups. Read with them, one-on-one, or in a little group of, find people that want to know, and then read together. Most people don't know that they don't know. But there are ways to help people want to know what they don't know, and even to know that they don't know. That's humility and bhakti. And when there's genuine humility and genuine bhakti, then there's the potential that it can touch someone's heart, and if someone's heart is touched, then you can do something with them and help them go the next step, and all of those nice little steps. And just one other thing, because of time, my circumstance of my life, I like distributing prasadam at the end of class, and I'm not going to do that tonight, kids. Tell the little girls in the back that So, because I have an early flight tomorrow, because this and that, so I'm going to do the 20. I'm going to 23 skidoo. I'm going to disappear shortly after the class is over, and beg your pardon, because the chain is pulling. So One of the outstanding devotional Shakti powers that Srila Prabhupada carried and, him through so much ordeal and so forth, was, besides he was brilliant and and had answers for all kinds of things, he really wanted people to be happy, and he knew that they weren't, because they didn't know. They didn't know. They didn't know that they didn't know. So if you can think of ways in your relationships with others to be a genuinely, not cosmetically, but genuinely humble devotee of Krishna, and with that genuine humility, know that without having been introduced to who I really am by the bhakti process, there's no way I could have become happy, because I didn't know who I was. And these people, sarve sukhino bhavantu. That was one of the driving forces, of course. That's Lord Chaitanya and the disciplic succession. But he wanted people to be happy, and he knew they weren't. He knew because they weren't, because they didn't know who they were, and they were trying to be happy being who they weren't. Ignorance doesn't make people happy. So then how to administer knowledge to people that don't know that they don't know? It's a big part of it is a true spirit of Vaishnava humility, not a condescending, I want you to be happy, get it? But, a genuine exchange where you extend to people in ways that it's relatable to them. And all kinds of things are relatable to people, and some of it's not very spiritual, but simple things touch people's hearts. And even, I'll just share one thing, and then we're going to stop. Today I was making a plan for traveling to India in the end of September, the early part of October, to take part in a visit with the devotees from China to Nepal, because it's really uncertain. In my opinion, it's highly unlikely. Although there's talk, there's very little action, that people from India are going to get visas to go to China and vice versa. Preliminary talking, but let's see. So the devotees in China, who I interact with regularly, don't need a visa to go to Nepal. So we're going to have a Chinese National Holiday Festival in Nepal. It's a nice place. Lots of nice things in Nepal. Lots of Vaishnavas. Lots of mountains, too. And the topics have been picked, the venue has been picked, and, so planning an international travel. And then, from there to Vrindavan, and then from Vrindavan back to the USA. So one of the things that international travel is, not lovely, but it's for someone that's busy, it's a good time to do stuff that you kind of leave till you have international travel to do, because there's 15 hours of sitting in a tin can. You got to do something. So one of the things that I do is I have projects. I'm just sharing. But it's how just being a devotee can impact people. So when I depending on where I'm traveling to, if it's travel to India, then I can dress like this, that I'm traveling to many other places. I can't dress like this. Name, then I can name the names, but you can't enter Singapore, you can't enter China, you can't enter a certain country dressed like this. So I dress like other people dress. And, there I am doing my thing, for 10 hours. And a stewardess is coming by and, like, would you like some of this and like some of that? No, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you. And then, just busy doing, preparing something. So I've had it happen 3 times. I'm not wearing a dhoti, wearing it doesn't look like everybody else, but my consciousness is something other than everybody else in the plane. So, the stewardesses sometimes are curious, like, what's with you? They have different ways of saying. Do you have that experience? Do you travel internationally a lot? Only once, okay. So we'll stick around a while. You'll travel. So, and then, with my bead bag, and and they ask questions about the bead bag. Yeah, just they're bored too. So there are different ways of getting into conversation with people. Just by being a devotee. Just be a devotee. And then, oh, you're a monk? Are you a Buddhist monk? No, I'm a Krishna monk. What's that? And they get to talk about Krishna. So it's just by being, then people may become a little inquisitive. And then when you have something that you've asked that question, who am I, and what's it all about, and and those kinds of basic questions, people are interested to hear. And then some small literature, and give them some small literature, and they read it. At least I think they read it. So we're ambassadors of our disciplic succession, and here we are in the suburbs of Chicago. It's Chicago has its own history of gangsterism, and without going into it, it's rough and tumble place. And then suburb is, it's not rough and tumble, it's whatever it is. But people are lost. So what to do? Be a devotee and give it, receive it and give it. And by one means or another means, however the circumstances permit. Because if you have it, then it's just being a devotee. It's somehow different and attractive to some people. Some people don't like it at all. But that's okay. There are people that like it. And we should find those people that like it so they can become happy. Very simple. Okay, that's my little pep talk. So now we had a little huddle, and it'd be really nice. Oh, yes. I understand coming this summer, towards the end of July or something like that, is a camp for kids. Yes? Yes? Say yes. Yes. All right. So there's lots of kids around. Find some kids and engage some kids. They don't have to be, non-resident Indian family kids. They can be anybody. Anybody means that'll be a learning curve for them to learn whatever it is that the teachers are teaching, or the summer camp. But teachers know how to do that. So involve people, or spiritual or something, religious, dharma. So give it some thought and give it some energy and reach out, and I'm sure things will grow, because Krishna is all attractive, and you just carry Krishna, and it'll grow. But be a little proactive and reach out in different ways. Harinam, book distribution. Be friendly when you have gatherings and touch the hearts and the minds of people in very simple ways. And then if they feel that there's some genuine something behind you and how your lifestyle, they will start opening up and let you know what's important to them and what their needs are, and not that now you're obliged to fix their needs or solve their problems or something, but you're part of their life, and because you're carrying Krishna Bhakti, that Krishna Bhakti becomes a means for them to move forward with some hope and some positive experiences of what real happiness is. Speaking in really simple terms, that's what we're doing. We have our philosophy, and it's really nice to learn and take some time and have your reading groups and study together and discuss. And people will have a wow experience. Great. Okay. 7:00. Let's see if there's some discussion. Uh-huh. I haven't seen you in a long time.
March, thank you so much for the class. We just came back from Dallas from Kirtan 50.
You did?
Yeah, we just came back from Dallas from Kirtan 50. So
okay. There was another, her son was in Dallas, but he came back with a cough. Like really serious cough. You didn't get any of that, right?
No, we didn't.
Okay.
I think it's really wonderful how you were sharing about connecting to people and being friendly. And there's some like easy ways, like even being more friendly to our neighbors, giving them prasadam. Some simple ways are there how to connect to people. Everybody has neighbors, and just to bring the prasadam and to talk.
Yes.
We can do this more, like those things. Just be more friendly and open.
I bet your prasadam is really good too. Do you prepare Vaishnava prasadam or Russian prasadam or all kinds of things?
All kinds of things.
Okay.
Of course, and it's wonderful. Right now, we have students, our students in our psychological things, and Rajam Khan started actually Bhagavad Gita reading with them. It's from all over.
See if any of these people that you contact with prasadam and etc., if they have children, they'd like them to attend a camp. Have you thought about that one?
Our neighbors don't, but we will talk in our Russian group. Yeah, we have some actually we discussed.
Okay.
Russian group also we invited them today, but they were new people who were coming, so they decided to preach there.
Okay.
This Russian program.
Maybe next time.
Yeah, thank you so much, Maharaj.
Okay. Anybody else? All the way in the back.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. So you rightly said about, today we are all inspired, but there is tomorrow. So tomorrow, this comfort zone kicks in, and then we hesitate to go out and talk to people or invite people or do something, where that inspiration kind of dies down. So what are some of the ways where we can keep
Get together with others that like. How many, I'm going to ask for a show of hands. How many persons here in the course of a week or the course of a month have a habit, a regular habit of going out and meeting people and distributing books somehow or another? How many people do that? Okay. Find other people that are doing that and do it together. I mean, that's probably part of what you do. You don't just go solo. You have some friends and you pick an area and you distribute. Or, like, going all the way to Dallas for Kirtan 60. That's what it's called? 60. 50. Kirtan 50. 50. So, how many of those persons who are attending, what percentage was of the younger generation? Youth. What percentage? 20%? 5. 25. Okay. So I'm sure that's something that once something like when there's a seed and there's some energy, then other young people will be happy to come because at least for two things: music, social. Holy name, music, and social. But then the holy name is there, and so benefit is there, and then friendship through that association. So that's tomorrow. Find out the means and the ways and the means where ways of reaching out instead of just the same old, find some ways that are in a little bit. Now, there's in most communities, there's some people that are more focused on one or another or the other, and that's fine. But find those people and associate with those people, and it becomes real easy. Or, like reading together, or japa together. A little synergy, and then it starts to manifest elsewhere. Okay. Something else? Yeah.
Thank you, Maharaj. Maharaj, you mentioned that Krishna is all attractive. So, and we need to carry Krishna in our hearts. So,
we do already, don't we?
How to carry Krishna more effectively in our hearts so that our outreach also is more effective?
Become Krishna conscious. How to become Krishna conscious? The stages of how to become Krishna conscious. So, supposing we're not Krishna conscious, you associate with those that are Krishna conscious. We discussed it a little bit in the morning class. Prabhupada, this is the Prabhupada classic. Prabhupada, how do you become, because Prabhupada was speaking about sincerity, how do you become sincere? And Prabhupada's answer was, how do you become a drunkard? You associate with people that drink a lot, you become a drunkard. How do you become, through association of those persons? So then, if someone has identified, I would like, and then you whatever that fill in that blank is, then you find persons that are like that. And the proactive part is, people may not be thinking like that. We go out and find them anyways. That's Sankirtan. So making that effort. And then, lo and behold, there are some people that by having their heart touched, then something awakens. Simple. No, a powerful, here's Srila Prabhupada. that's one of my personal experiences of a Prabhupada story. There's several, but one of the, we were in Vrindavan, and the morning walk, the system at that time was Prabhupada would, at a certain time, would leave his quarters. Some devotees would join him, and he would go out the front gate, make a right-hand turn, and travel. There were no shops. It was not like cuckoo land that it is today. It was just fields, agricultural fields. And, walking, and then at a certain point in time, he turned around and came back. And as we were coming back, the devotees were waiting at the gate, and they were having kirtan. So the Prabhupada heard the sound and said, "What's that?" And one devotee said the obvious, "Prabhupada, they're at the gate and they're having kirtan, they're waiting for you to come back." Then Prabhupada stopped and put his cane into the pavement, which was, listen up, everybody. That was the signal. And he said, when there's an opportunity to associate with the spiritual master, one should take that opportunity. The question was the question wasn't, what's that sound? Where are the devotees? That was the question. Where are the devotees? They should be, when there's an opportunity to associate. And then he took a few more steps and put his cane down and said, "This is preaching." Then he made this little gesture with his hand like this. That preaching means you see a spark and you fan the spark. And then he moved his hand slowly and said, "Not too much. A little." And then the spark may become a blaze, may become a flame. He looked around. There was a few of us. And then his head tilted back, and he said, "And a very expert preacher is one who turns that flame into a big blaze." His eyes got big. He looked around, and off he went to the back. So it's just, look for sparks and do this. Whatever it is that people have as a spiritual interest, and fan the spark. Find it. And how do you find it? Well, you offer it, and they'll respond. They'll let you know. They'll let you know the things they're not interested in. They'll let you know the things they are interested in. And that's the reaching out in different venues and different ways. Yeah. Over here.
Guru Maharaj, it seems that we've gone so far down the road of, this big, huge machinery that has just so many of us NRIs on board, that it's quite unrelatable and perhaps intimidating for people who don't look like us. And of course, there's some very small pockets of successful preachers and initiatives for reaching out to others, but primarily, ISKCON North America is very brown. So it just seems like it's a matter of just accepting that this generation of devotees is going to look like us. And then there's consequences to that.
Yes.
In terms of how much diversity we're able to attract. And the machine is just getting bigger and bigger and going further down the road.
Therefore?
I'm wondering what your thoughts are at some point, because the first generation was primarily very diverse, and then the second generation seems very brown. And, is there like a cultural...
Well, patterns likely to, like is going to attract like. So it's not an easy strategy to conceive of, but where it is conceived of, it's still successful. So it's just, there's a conception and a way to reach, and then it grows. I could give examples. I don't think that's too appropriate here. But You know, it's like where there's a will, there's a way. And so if the will is not like no Indians, please, and anybody else, please, that's not a solution. But you know, some places they do that, and there's some traction. But you know, in course of time, because there's something that's very attractive, the non-resident Indian student body also wants to come and join with the party. So the cross-pollination is going to happen anyways, but with a focus that is with intention. You know, it's like just for some period of time, for a long period of time, I was based in New York. And there's a lot of Hispanic people. And so the Hispanic people spoke to the Hispanic people. The Russian devotees speak to the Russian devotees. You have a little sangha of people from that part of the world. Yes? No? No, I'm looking at her. Yes. I yeah, but when you have stuff in your home or in other people's homes, it's largely like attracts like, isn't it? Yeah. You know, years ago I attended some of those programs and it was like nice. It reminded me like New York. Haha. So, like attract like. So persons that are from this background, they get you know, give support, fan the spark, let them do what they can do, and so forth and so forth, and so you know, white people and Chinese people and Spanish people and Russian people, and you know, and honor it and participate as we would in something else. What do you think? Yes, you. No, 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 right next to you. The other Ruski here. You have a solution for this? You heard the dilemma.
Maharaj, at first, thank you so much for talking about this. And I'm really missed your association. About dilemma, by our experience when we're working with people, like we do training sometimes, and people come in different age, nations,
Yeah.
educations, cultures, occupations, totally different. And after half an hour, 1 hour walk, they feeling like one family.
Yeah.
Trust, open heart, open mind,
Yeah.
and ready to walk, ready to transform consciousness. So how
So
each
it
one wants.
starts with they're comfortable and then expands.
Yes, if it's heart. From heart to heart.
You're saying the same thing I said before. You're saying it a different way. Same point, same thing.
Yeah, definitely, Maharaj.
Okay, fantastic. Anything else? Yes, you got the last topic here.
Thank you very much, Guru Maharaj. Specifically with regard to fanning the spark, I have I'm confused with my own question. And I'm thinking that, am I really the spark here? Or I am the person who is fanning the spark?
Why not both?
And that's the question, Maharaj. That
But
how
that's the
can
answer.
how can I do that with humility when I'm trying to fan the spark? It could be very.
Oh, you do a good job. You do a good job. With humility means in service, in simple terms. And, there's a master, and you're the servant, and that's humility. You're not, who are you anyways? So, you're the tiny fragmental spark. That's all. And so the spark is fanning other sparks. That's nice position. And where'd the ability to fan sparks come from? From the fire, the source. And that's it. Now, it's easy to get off. And, and it's not pleasant. It's unpleasant for you and unpleasant for other people. We had this discussion about people that have authority and they abuse their authority. We had that discussion, and it's unpleasant for them and for others. They're not happy protecting their turf, and without, it goes on in all levels of the world. So knowing that they're not happy and they're not making other people happy, so be happy. And just, you're being a servant. And that's because the master is happy. That's happiness. So you realign your intention with that objective. Our founder Acharya, or keep going. Krishna, Lord Chaitanya, they should smile. Krishna should smile.
Thank you, Maharaj.
That's humility. You want to add something? Okay, last thing.
Thank you so much, Marsh. Just two things. First of all, Subal Prabhu is doing right now amazing preaching for people with his amazing kirtan programs.
Yeah.
And they're doing I think every week, trying to do right now in Moksha Yoga Studio and in different yoga studios. And I think it would be really great. Support would be if devotees will talk to him and kind of encourage him, thank him, because he just doing it. Also our group helps, but he should get more support. I think if devotees will tell him how amazing he's doing, and support would be great.
Hear, hear, or as they say in England. And guess what? He doesn't feel supported. He doesn't feel supported. He doesn't feel supported. They're planning to pull the plug.
No, he feels he is so much inspired, but if devotees will tell him, it will be even more, right?
Yeah. There's the they, and then there's Subal. The people that should be fanning his spark. So he's fanning other sparks. At least my sense. He doesn't say it the same way, but he's not at all being encouraged. Anyway, it is what it is.
And the other thing, what is also possible, even we can invite amazing devotees. They're planning to come. They're part of Govinda Maharaj team, amazing, husband and wife, kirtan players. And we can arrange, even in the temple, or other places, kirtan festivals, and invite different people from yoga studios. But support is needed, but it's all possible.
Yeah.
To do something. We were thinking about that.
Thank you. On that note, let's call it an evening. And what do you normally do when you have these get-togethers? What happens? There's prasadam. Really? Okay. So where's that? They sit here, or they go somewhere? Just sit here. Okay. With your permission, I'm going to disappear. On the count of 3, poof. I have, anyway, long story. I have an early flight tomorrow, and we'll see when I get back here. Srila Prabhupada Ki.